Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. I have not gone live in a long time. I'm happy to be here with you guys. I'm gonna give it a minute or so for everyone to hop on. But as you're hopping on, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know if you're catching this live for the replay, as always. Hello, everyone. Welcome. How's everyone doing? I have not been live in a couple months. I am back in school, for those of you who don't know, who follow me, who don't know. And so last semester I had like 5 classes and it was just super intense. And I tried to stay consistent with like putting content out on here, but I just did not have like the time or energy for live. So I'm super excited to be here with you guys. If you're following me already, if you've been here on a live, let me know. If you're new, let me know in the comments. I love to meet you guys, see who's here with me. How's everyone's week going? Good. Thank you for all the love. I kind of want to make a drink, like a little tea or something. I don't know. I might bring you guys in the kitchen with me later because I'm realizing here my water's almost gone. Okay. So I'm going to talk about manifesting. Law of assumption. That is what my account is about. That is my content. That's what I teach. So let me know if you're familiar with law of assumption or law of attraction or just anything about manifesting in general. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below and I will do my best to get to them. So I didn't link any products in here, but if you like this book or any of the stuff I talk about, you can check it in the showcase in my profile if you would like. But this book I got and I wanted to share with you guys a passage from it. It's all about like changing the way you're thinking and how the way we're thinking is what's creating our experience, our reality, and how to shift out of that. And so it's called Don't Believe Everything You Think. And it says here, why your thinking is the beginning and end of suffering. So I've been really enjoying going through this book and I figured I'd share some with you guys here. Hello, Anna. Hello, Marianne. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so it says, we are only ever one thought away from peace, love, and joy, which comes from a state of no thought. And so before we get into this, I just want to say I don't necessarily agree with everything that he's saying in here. I just think it's interesting. I think it's good. I think it's expanding. It's good to like play around with different ideas. I think you can think positive thoughts and that will help you get in a positive state, a positive feeling state. But what I do love about this book is they talk a lot about neutrality, which honestly, when I'm working with clients, the first step we do is we try to get to neutrality. A lot of my work is based around nervous system regulation, which inherently is kind of based on getting out of your mind and getting into your body. So it kind of goes hand in hand with that no thought concept. Hello, everyone. Welcome. And the idea there is because it can be really difficult if you have negative momentum built up in your mind around a certain topic. It can be really tricky to then go and try to convince your brain that the opposite is true. Like I find with my clients, a lot of times they come to me and they're like, I'm doing the affirmations and they're not working. Like I'm getting the opposite. And oftentimes it's because when we're saying affirmations, if it's too big of a leap, sometimes it can cause more resistance. This is just what I've noticed, what I've observed, and I've noticed it in myself as well. So there's a lot of like bridge work we can do, like blanket affirmations, like everything's working out for me, it's safe to relax, it's safe to trust, it's safe to be in my body. And so that's where kind of we do a little self-soothing with the nervous system regulation. But I will say neutrality is a really powerful thing to master, and this is why you'll hear me talking. And hopefully, guys, let me know if you can hear me over the AC. It's hot here. The AC just kicked in. It's like almost 100 degrees outside. If it sounds loud to me, but hopefully I'm speaking loudly enough so you can hear. But neutrality is really important because honestly, I find sometimes just not reacting to the things you don't prefer to be way more powerful than just trying to almost fight with it. Because sometimes when you try to affirm for the opposite, when you see something you don't like, there's a lot of resistance in that. It's like you're not accepting what's happening. You're like, this isn't okay, this shouldn't be here. And I've found along my manifestation journey, which has been years and years and years, that there's so much power in just accepting the way things are, and not accepting that as your end state, but just like, okay, things are the way they are right now. I am where I am, and that's okay. This is valid too. I don't need to invalidate this. Like, if you can just be in acceptance of it and know that you're going to create what you want and know that you're on your way to more of what you do prefer, that's a very powerful space to be in, versus fighting against what's there and trying to affirm over it and almost make it go away because you think that it's not okay. It's like, if you can just be okay with it, it takes a lot of the charge, the negative charge out of that. And then from that neutral space, you're able to really easily and clearly call in what you do want. Okay. So in this chapter, he's talking about neutrality. So he says, we're ever only one thought away from peace, love, and joy, which comes from a state of no thought. So I think it's funny he's talking about like one thought away from it, but it comes from a space of no thought. So let's dive in and see. It says, there's a caveat that I haven't mentioned yet to the principle that we can only feel what we're thinking. The more accurate way of describing it is that we can only ever feel negative emotions when we are thinking. And I think that's so true. Like, anytime you're feeling bad, you can stop and ask yourself, what story do I have going on here? Like, what's my perspective? Because you'll find that there's infinite perspectives available for whatever you're going through. And if you're feeling bad, it's because you're selecting a perspective that doesn't feel good. And what I want to offer to you is the reason why that doesn't feel good is because it's not in alignment with where you're going, which means that your soul's ready to expand and allow in more. So instead of fighting with that, instead of like holding on to that same old perspective, if you can just soften and relax into it, you're going to allow it to be transmuted for you, so you can open up to a more enriching perspective, one that's more in alignment with what you want to allow in. Yeah. So it says, the goal isn't necessarily to completely stop feeling negative emotions. Some of the negative emotions can be helpful, such as feeling fearful when deciding to walk down a dark alley alone with no one else in sight. These negative emotions are only helpful to us in terms of survival, but if we don't constantly encounter life or death situations, negative emotions are more unhelpful than helpful for most of us. We're going to be moving forward with the context that we're not struggling for physical survival, so we'll be using the context that negative emotions are not necessary most of the time. I was just making sure I wasn't missing any comments. Hello to everyone joining. By the way, I'm reading this book, Don't Believe Everything You Think. It's not linked in this video. I don't know if I can link, maybe I can link it, but it is in my showcase. Give me a second, I'll see if I can link it. If I can't, I probably should have done that ahead of time. Not sure how, let me see. Add product. Okay, let me see. Okay, should be added. Let me know if you guys can see it. I think I added it. If not, just go on the showcase. But anyway, let me keep reading. So he's basically saying like unless every single day you're in these like life or death circumstances, negative thinking really actually doesn't serve you. And so here's the thing I want you to grasp with this too, is that when we're constantly in that negative thinking, it's because our mind, our nervous system, our body is stuck in fight or flight. And you'll find that when you're thinking negatively, you're literally just taking things way too seriously. You're assigning really negative, serious meanings to things. And then you're causing yourself to have these really strong emotional reactions, which, you know, your energy, your focus, your attention, your emotion is what keeps circumstances there. So if you are encountering something you don't like, the most powerful thing you can do is just soften and ease into it and stay non-reactive, stay neutral, because it's going to allow it to move out of your reality really quickly, because things are always shifting and moving and changing. The natural flow of the universe is to be expanding. And you are the universe. You're part of the universe. You're supposed to be expanding too. So when we stay in these limited perspectives, when we hold so tight to our negative thought patterns, we're actually resisting the expansion that your soul naturally wants to bring in for you. Does that make sense? So it says, when I mention that we can only ever feel what we're thinking, most people assume that we must think positive to feel positive emotions. Instead of convincing you if this is true or not, let's do another thought experiment so you can experience the truth for yourself. Recall a time when you felt the most joy and love you have ever felt in your life, and feel the feelings that you felt at that time for as much as you can for at least 30 seconds. So you guys can practice it here, you can practice it after, whatever you want. By the way, guys, I upload these replays to my YouTube, okay? So everything's linked at the top of my page. If you're not following, go ahead, give me a follow. That way you get notified for all the things, okay? But you can find that there. So think of a time when you were like the happiest, when something really amazing happened. Maybe you were traveling somewhere awesome. Maybe you were with someone you loved. Maybe you got some really good news. Something happened that was really good. Think of a time when you were so, so happy, and just conjure up those feelings again. Kind of revisit the emotions of that for about 30 seconds. Okay? And then here's the experiment. I'm going to ask you, what kinds of thoughts were going through your mind at that peak moment when you felt the most joy and love? It says here in parentheses, I'm not asking what you were doing at the time, but what thoughts were going through your head at that exact moment. And the experiment here is that you're not going to remember. You'll remember what you were doing. You'll remember what was around you. You'll probably remember who you were with, how you felt, but you're not going to remember the thoughts, because they are really meaningless. So it says here, for many people, that answer is they realize that they didn't have any thoughts during that exact moment. For others, they will say that the thought was that they were so grateful or happy. For those that answered that they had the thought that they were grateful, did you feel that love and joy before you had the thought or after? Take 10 to 15 seconds to answer that question before moving on. Okay, so this is just to kind of test and see, like, were you having the thought like, oh, I'm so happy and grateful before the thing happened, during, or after? Okay, this is just to kind of explore your mind a little and see. What's crazy is that most people didn't have any thoughts going through their mind when they felt the happiest and the most amount of love in their lives. For those that had the thought that they were grateful, they felt that way before having the thought. If they had that thought, it happened after they felt the feelings, so the thought could not have produced the feeling. This brings us to yet another truth. You do not have to think thoughts or think at all in order to feel positive emotions. And I would add in here, what I teach is that if you can just stop interacting with the negative thoughts, by default, you're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel more free. You're going to feel more happy. You're going to be allowing in more love. Okay? It says here, the beautiful part about this truth is that it needs no justification, because it can be experienced right here, right now. It doesn't need to be proven or rationalized to you, and you experience this truth firsthand by the experiment that we just did. Here's why we don't need to have thoughts or think in order to feel positive emotions like love or joy. Our natural state of being is love. It is joy, ecstasy, freedom, and gratitude. This may be hard to believe, because if it's natural, why don't we feel that way all the time? I'll answer this in a bit. If we want to see the natural state of anything, one of the best ways is to look at nature and the state of it in its infancy. For example, let's look at the natural state of a baby. What is a baby's natural default state? Assuming that the baby wasn't like abused or neglected or something like that, right? Are babies naturally stressed, anxious, fearful, and self-conscious, or are they naturally in a state of bliss, happiness, and love? Our natural state of being is love, joy, and peace. Therefore, any thinking that we do that will only take us away from those natural states of being, which is why whenever we feel extremely stressed, we are having a lot of thinking going on. The strength of the negative emotion we feel is in direct proportion to how much thinking we are doing in the moment. On the other hand, the intensity of the positive emotion we feel is inversely proportional to the amount of thinking we are doing in the moment. In other words, the less thinking we have going on, the stronger positive emotion we'll feel in the present. I feel like that's a good stopping point. But again, this is the book. Don't believe everything you think. I've really been enjoying it, and it's just so true. And if you follow me in my content, a lot of what I talk about is slowing down, really finding those little pleasures, the little things that bring you joy, and really intentionally interacting with those, creating those moments of joy, doing the things that bring you joy, regardless whether or not they have anything to do with your manifestation. A lot of people feel like they need to be like super focused on their affirmations, their techniques, whatever it is they want, but oftentimes that's creating a lot of resistance. And if you're doing techniques and you feel good when you're thinking of your manifestation, but then the rest of your day you're not feeling good, that means the majority of your day you're in misalignment with who you are. And the way I explain this is, if you're feeling good, that means the majority of your day you're in misalignment with who you are. And the way I explain this is, if you're holding yourself in that space. It said it lost Wi-Fi connection. Can someone let me know if it's still recording and if you can hear me, please? I just got like a little notification flash there. I see people join. Okay, people are joining, so I think we're good. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So you're in that tight state, you're not flexible, you're not letting anything in, you're not expanding, you're sure, maybe you think you're protecting yourself from the negative, but you're also protecting the good. Awesome, thank you, Dion. So here's the thing. If you can, even in a moment where you feel like you're not safe or you see something you don't like, if you can just push yourself to just relax, just 1% more. That's 1% more that you're letting go of things that don't serve you, and you're creating space for something new to come in. The more you want your energy open, you want to feel expansive. You want to get to that space where you're out of your head and you're in your body. And if you have a hard time relaxing, you can use your thoughts to kind of self-soothe and get you to that space. So you can say, it's okay for me to give this a break, whatever problem your brain's analyzing. It's okay to give this a break. It's okay for me to slow down. It's okay for me to just go for a walk and just be present and enjoy nature and just feel good in my body. It's okay to, I always say it's okay to take a break. It's okay to relax. It's safe for me to feel safe. You know, kind of use some words to talk yourself down. You can do certain things, like I really like tapping right here on my chest, or just placing your hands over your chest. You can even go like this. It's a really good way to calm your nervous system. So there's just little things like that you can do, and just slow down and allow yourself to enjoy. Like, it's safe to go play and have fun. Things are always working out for you all the time. It's just when you're in this tight energy, you're blocking it. And the stuff that's going to keep you, the behaviors that are going to keep you in this tight energy, is overthinking, stressing, thinking negatively, judging yourself, judging others, judging the way things look on the outside. That's like a big pitfall I see in the law of assumption, like manifesting community. Judging your current circumstances, judging the past, and being like, it looks like it's not here, it looks like it's impossible, it looks like the opposite is happening. No, like, everything's working out for you all the time. It's just a matter of your perspective and where you're at energetically. If you're going to allow it in, it's like there for you. It's just a matter of letting it in. So the more you can relax and soften, and think of, you can, oh good, the air shut off. Hopefully you can hear me better and I don't have to shout so much. I'm pretty soft spoken normally. You can think of when you're stressed and you're overthinking, you're in your brain. And if you want to relax your mind, you can think of it like unclenching a fist, right? Soften. You can yawn, release some tension, let a sigh out, soften your shoulders, relax your face, relax your back, relax your neck. Like, be here, be in your body. Just relax. Like, everything's okay. How can you be more present? What can you do to bring more joy? What can you do that you've been needing to do, that you've been putting off, that would feel really good to get done? Like, just creating those moments of awareness throughout your day. And if you can make this a way of being, just practicing this relaxed state, relaxing your nervous system, calming, embodying a state of peace, you're in this beautiful neutral space, and you'll start to, before anything shifts and changes, you're going to start seeing the perfection and the beauty that's all around you. And I think that's like one of the biggest shifts is like sometimes we're so adamant that this big thing needs to change and come in, but it's like where you're at is already perfect. Yeah, you're going to get to everywhere you want to go, but you can't get there through this type of energy. You can't get there through telling the story that nothing's right and everything's wrong. Like, because you're going to perceive and experience life based off the lens you're looking through. So instead of trying to wrestle with your mind, if you can just practice calming yourself and relaxing, you're going to find that you naturally start to see everything that is going right. And when you're in that space, it's so easy to build positive momentum from there when you start noticing everything that is good and allow yourself to enjoy. Because, like, for example, how often when you're stressed, are you not allowing yourself to focus on the good? Yeah? It's like you're not allowing yourself to feel good. You're literally cutting yourself off from joy. It's like you think you don't deserve to feel joy or enjoy anything until this thing's fixed. But what that does is you fixating on what's wrong puts you in a really bad energetic state where you're not letting anything in. So not only are you not letting the things you want to come in come to you, you're also cutting yourself off from enjoying all the good that's already there. Is this resonating? It's like that quote that says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I think a lot of people resist this because it's like somehow our logical mind thinks that it's not safe to feel good and enjoy and relax until something's fixed. But ironically, just the act of relaxing allows things to fix themselves. Like, I would say 90% of your problems will resolve themselves if you just practice being in a relaxed state, embodying a state of peace. Like, health problems will clear up, many of them. Like, a lot of things will just clear up and fix and resolve themselves. And you'll notice as things resolve themselves, like, oh, I just was making an unfavorable assumption of this. I jumped the gun. I just assumed negatively. This person didn't mean it this way. Oh, this isn't actually a problem. Oh, whatever. Hello, everyone. Reaper says it's the truth. Cam says, hey. Hello, everyone. So many of your problems will just fix themselves without you needing to lift a finger or do anything. And then anything that feels like you still maybe need to take action towards it or do a little something, which I will tell you, my belief is that you do not need to do anything to manifest. But we are having a human experience, and part of that is doing things and living your life, which I think you should always be following your joy, following what feels good, But sometimes you will be led to take action, but you're going to hear that inner guidance so much more easily when you're in a relaxed state. Yeah. Thank you for all the love, guys. Welcome to everyone new in here. And the thing is, the guidance that you're going to hear from the infinite intelligence within you is always going to be like the path of least resistance, the most direct path there, even if you can't see it, even if it doesn't make logical sense to your brain. But what's really good to remind yourself when you're trying to overthink things, when you feel like, oh, you can't relax until you fully understand it or until you know exactly how it's going to work out, what's good to remind yourself of is that your brain can only calculate and predict a future or like a solution based off of current and past circumstances. All the likes are at 444, and that is my number. I love it. Does anyone else see that number all the time, 444? I'd love to know. So when you're using your logic, you're really, really limiting yourself because you're only tapping into current and past. Whereas if you can calm down, calm your body, relax your mind, and really allow that infinite intelligence within you to take over and to guide you and to lead you, you will find that things manifest in a way that is far beyond anything your logical mind could have imagined. And this is where we talk about quantum leaping and things changing really quickly. And that's like, just like in this book, he was saying you're only like one thought away from happiness. And what I would encourage you to is don't make your happiness dependent on something coming in. Because again, like we were talking, you can't get there from there. I see some questions. I'll I'll respond to that in a second. You know, you have to choose to be happy now. And that's the energy that will bring everything in. And you don't always have to be like super high vibe and happy, but just being calm, practicing that neutral state, you'll find that you start to magnetize so much to you. You'll realize how you're just naturally magnetic to the things you want, and how untrue it is that you need to go work and make it happen. And when you really allow like that, your inner being, your soul to do the attracting for you, your energy to work for you, you're going to realize that like your mind really doesn't know anything. And so in that sense, it really is safe to let go. It really is safe to just relax and trust. It's safe to be in the present moment. It's safe to have fun. It's safe to enjoy what you do have. You know, you're going to get to where you want to go. But how do you want to look back and remember this time of your life? Do you want to look back and remember this transition period as like you were so stressed, you took so many things for granted, you stayed inside at home, stressed out and worried, instead of being outside and exploring and having fun and connecting with people? Like, how do you want to remember it? You know, like when we're having fun, time seems to pass really quickly. You notice that? And then when you're in something that is miserable, it seems like it passes so slowly. And that just goes to show like how your perception of things really impacts your experience of it. And my desire for you is that you learn how to let in more joy right now. Sure, it's going to feel good when you get the thing you want, but as soon as you get that, like, that's going to wear off eventually, because it's going to become normal to you, because now that's a part of your identity. And then you're going to be on to something else, because you're always expanding, and that's beautiful. And that's amazing. And I'm not telling you to not want things and not have goals. Not at all. I want you to dream big. But what I want is I want you to feel fulfilled and happy every step along the way. Do you feel me? There's a difference. Cam says, how do I make a manifestation for a text? Okay, I'm going to give an unpopular opinion on this. So I see a lot of people in law of assumption and manifesting communities wanting to manifest these little specific things. But I guarantee you don't just want a text, right? I'm going to assume, is this with a specific person? Is this someone you want to text you, right? Like, you probably want a committed relationship with them. You want them to like you. You want them to love you, right? You want an amazing relationship. So I would tell you to zoom out, go bigger. Don't focus on a tiny little text. That's like being like, you know, people are like, I want to manifest $100. It's like, okay. Or like, I want to manifest 10K a month. That's great. You can do that. You can focus on that. But what do you really want? Like financial freedom, right? Like, can you hold space for it to be bigger? Yeah. Because if you're focusing on a text, you're getting stuck in what Neville would call the bridge of incidents. You want to live in the end state of like the relationship, right? So I'll tell you, like, when you're in, like, when I was manifesting a relationship, like a little over a year ago, I was like, I wasn't hyper focused on like all the little steps. I was just like, I want to be in a really amazing relationship that feels really good. And I would land in that end state of like how it felt to be with the perfect partner for me, how it felt to be loved, how it felt to be chosen and prioritized and adored and cherished and shown up for consistently, and how loved I felt and how at ease I felt, and how, of course, the communication's flowing. Like, to be honest, once you land in that end state, you're not really focused on a text. Do you feel me? So the way I would tell you to manifest a text is think bigger. Yeah, a text is fine to want that, but like, what is it that you really want? What would getting that text symbolize to you, right? Would it symbolize being shown up for? Would it be indicative of like calling in an amazing relationship and you guys are texting all the time, of course? You know, so dig deep there and see. By the way, guys, my self-concept guide is on sale right now for $35. I forgot to tell you guys that. So I go through how to like work with your inner dialogue, work with your self-concept. I lead you through some really powerful exercises in there. I want to say it's like 65 pages or something. You can look at it, but it's like an instant download. You can get it at the top of my page if you guys want. Dion says, I really needed to hear a lot of what you're saying. Good. I'm so glad you're here. But Cam, if you're still here, let me know how that resonates for you. Because I know it can be easy. Like, the mind wants to fixate on like the physical steps. Like, oh, this is the next logical step. But like, you can get there so much more quickly you can let things unfold, let your soul help it unfold for you so much more quickly if you just kind of go to the end and work on feeling those feelings, right? And I know a lot of people talk about needing to feel it real. And I guess this would be a good segue for me to share with you my thoughts on that. So you can practice, like I've been talking about, neutrality. You want to practice that anyway. You want to really practice not reacting to things, like, yeah, non-reaction. That's a very powerful practice. But when you are thinking about the things you want to call in, and typically it's going to be easier to do this if you're in a neutral space and you've practiced non-reaction, like releasing some of that resistance first. But if you can just go in and just be excited, knowing for sure that they're yours. Because I know for me, and I've led some clients through this, it can be like your brain, if you try to tell yourself like, oh, I'm in the most amazing relationship, oh, I'm a multimillionaire, oh, all these things, like I'm skinny now, like all these things, like, but your physical reality isn't showing you that, and maybe that's something you've never experienced before, it's going to be, your brain's going to resist it. But what I could get my energy behind was, I am supposed to have my desires. What I desire is inevitable. Like my soul gave me these desires. Like this is 100% what I'm put on this earth to experience. And I could relax into that, and I could ease into that. I could get my energy behind that. And when I reminded myself, anytime I was like frantically like, how do I make this happen? Why isn't it here? This shouldn't be happening, or it's been this long, or whatever resistance my mind came up with, I would land back in. It's already mine, and it's already unfolding. I'm on my way to it. It's on its way to me. Like there's nothing I need to do. It's already happening. So what do I want to do with my time? Because it's happening for me. So what would I like to do? And then I would go follow my joy. And I'm telling you guys, when you can follow your joy, you are going to manifest at super speed. You're going to have things coming in that you've been waiting for. You're going to start seeing signs and evidence. Things will start coming to you that you didn't even know to ask for, because you're embodying your most magnetic state, and your natural state, like they were talking about in this book, is happiness, it's love, it's abundance, it's peace, success, whatever you want. Like that's your natural state. So the more you just practice being in a non-resistant state, following your joy, when you think about the things you want, remind yourself, it's mine. It's done. It's happening. I don't have to do anything. I get to go have fun and let this be worked out for me. Like if you can just practice that, you are going to notice the hugest shifts. The first shift you'll notice is you're going to start feeling a lot better. And then you will start attracting better, and you will start noticing all the good that's been here all along that you were overlooking because you were so fixated on the one problem. If you guys are familiar with Abraham Hicks, she describes it like this. She says that you could have 10 subjects in your life, right? And you could have 9 of them going wrong. Hang on. I want to not show this. I don't know why these weirdos come on and try to join my life, like co-host. You're welcome to join. You're not welcome to show your yam. Okay. So Abraham Hicks talks about it, that like you could have 10 subjects in your life, right? 9 are going great and 1 is going wrong. And if you focus on the one that's going wrong, the other 9 will start to go wrong too, because whatever we focus our energy towards is what we're going to experience more of. The way I would phrase that is you could have 9 areas of your life that are great and 1 that's wrong. And if you continue to choose to focus on the one that's wrong, that's all you're going to have space to perceive. Like we can only really focus on one thing at a time. So why not focus on the things that are going right? And she also talks about if you would just like, if you had 9 areas of your life going wrong, but 1 going right, and you were to focus on the one that's going right, just focus all your attention and energy towards that, the other 9 would correct themselves. They would start going right too. So things are going to match and show up and align with the frequency that we are holding, the version of ourselves that we're embodying. And this is why I teach a lot through self-concept, because not only do you want to be relaxing, right? You want to be calming your nervous system. You want to be practicing non-reaction, but you also want to be mindful of what are you aware of? What are you tuning into? What thoughts are you thinking? How are you interpreting things? What are you projecting? Are you projecting out love or fear? Are you looking at your circumstances and making them mean that you can't get what you want and you'll never succeed and your manifestations will never come? Or are you looking at that and saying, oh, that can shift in any moment. and oh, actually this is working good, and I can see how that worked out for me. And even if I can't see it, I know it's all working out for me, and this is going right. Let me focus on this because this feels good. You have full control over where you direct your energy. The thing is, we just haven't really been taught this. We've been taught to focus on problems. We've been taught that we need to fix everything. We've been taught that it's not okay to rest until everything's fixed because we think we need to do it all, but you totally don't. And I find that the less I try to fix problems, the less I engage with the problems, the more quickly they go away, or I realize they weren't even a problem. It was just how I was perceiving it, or they just cease to exist and good things take their place. You don't need to figure out how. I promise if you practice this, it will just work. So it's just a matter of being consistent with it. Okay, it was telling me something on here. So I was reading out of this book, and then it was telling me, I guess because it's linked, to make sure I was talking about that. But we are talking about this book. But real quickly, guys, this should be linked, I think. It's also in my TikTok shop if you want. Don't believe everything you think. Yeah, but in this, we were reading in chapter 5, and they were talking about, I wonder how I can unlink it so I can just talk about whatever I want in this live. But for anyone who didn't catch this, you can catch the replay. I will upload it on my TikTok, which is linked at the top of my page with that link. But he was talking about how fear and negative emotions really don't serve you, and those are just based off of the thoughts you're thinking. And he's talking about how if you go back to a point in your life where you felt the most joy and love, and you try to remember what you were thinking at that time, likely you weren't thinking anything. And he was talking about how oftentimes our thoughts are blocking us from feeling joy. So that's what led me into the whole talking about working with your nervous system, all those things. Hang on a second though, I am gonna unlink it because I do want to keep, I get confused sometimes with let me know, can someone let me know if it's unpinned, because I get a little confused with TikTok when I do link products when I'm going live, because then it if I talk about something else, it's violation, you've deviated from the thing. I'm not about that. I am going to bring you guys into the kitchen with me for a second because I want to make a little drink because my water's out. But if you guys have any questions about manifesting, feel free to ask them now. I'm going to try to go live more this next, I have weird lighting, but bear with me. I have a 2-week break from school, and then I start clinicals, and then let me see if I can prop this up here. Just bear with the bad lighting for a second, and then we'll get to better lighting when I go back in the other room. I have clinicals, but then I only have a couple classes as opposed to 5, so I should be able to go live more often. But if you guys like manifestation content and you want to check out more of these lives I've done where I've answered people's questions and just talked about these things, they're all on my YouTube, and I have a lot of good videos on my profile too, so you can check those out. What's everyone up to, by the way? How's everyone's week going? What's the most effective thing a guy's done to get your attention? Well, I'm gay, so let me answer that from the perspective of how a partner gets my attention. For me as a woman, just being authentic and being consistent. That's 100% how I'm in my relationship, because my partner, she very respectfully pursued me and then was very consistent. For me, that's big. But for me, quality time is one of my love languages. So that's that. And gift giving doesn't hurt. That's also one of my love languages. You guys crack me up with the questions. I'm using this little thing. I think I need to change. Oh, there we go. I'm almost done making this drink, guys, and then we'll go back where the lighting's good. Does anyone else have any questions? Anything you guys want to talk about? We can just hang out and chat. Let me finish making this. One sec. Oh, also, side note, like while I'm in the kitchen and see this, has anyone tried this? I haven't tried it yet. They sent it to me. It's a pre-workout. It's Bloom. I've used their green powder and I really like it. They let me pick what flavor and I picked sour peach ring, but I haven't tried it yet. So when I try it, I'll let you guys know. But I liked it because it said on the back, like, it was like really good natural sources of energy. Like I think rhodiola, L-theanine, there's a lot of good stuff in here. Like I didn't see anything that I don't recognize, so I'm excited to try that. But I'm not making that right now because I don't need any like extra energy. Today's my rest day. I was not working out today. But when I'm ready to go work out, probably tomorrow or next day, I'll see. Hello, everyone. Who's still here with me? Let me know. We're gonna go get back with the ring light and the stand. Make my life easier. Hi, Dion. You're still here. Yay. Do you have any questions or anything you want to share? Like anything you've manifested or something you're currently manifesting or any topics along this line that you want to chat about? Because that's my favorite thing to talk about, but I'll answer other questions too, just for fun. You know, why not? I like just hanging out too. Okay. Now I got my drink. We're good. I'm like all about my drinks. I always have to have a tea, or like in the morning I like my coffee. Okay, Dion says, I love hearing this. Without knowing, I was manifesting something in the early 90s. I manifested my job that I have now. That's amazing. And you know what? That's so true, because we are always manifesting whether or not we realize it. I just think people find out about manifesting when they're ready, when there's like an area of their life that they want to change and they're like can't figure it out. Like that's when we like become more aware of it. Work at UPS for the last 26 years. That's awesome. How did you manifest it without knowing? Like, were you just thinking one day like, oh, I need a job that's like this, this, and this, and then the opportunity came? Like, how did that? I would love to hear how that happened. Hi, Jean from Las Vegas. Welcome. Yeah, where's everyone from, by the way? I'm in California. I always love hearing where everyone's tuning in from. I like seeing who's here with me. A guy came into where you work and said, you know, I want to work there. Wait, what? Guy came into where at work and I said, you know, I want to work there. Oh, okay. Like a UPS guy came into where you're working, you say you want to work there. For the next 9 years, I said it to myself off and on. Oh, that's so cool. And then when you quit your job, you went straight to UPS and got the job. That's amazing. That is amazing. That's so cool. And that's a great example, in my opinion, of how, without even really trying, just like saying something over and over brings it in. And for me, the way I think of it is like, when with repetition, whether it's intentional or not, it kind of becomes part of your identity. Your mind kind of gets used to the idea, and it's kind of the next logical step. It's like, oh, this thing is inevitable, you know? So this is why people practice affirmations intentionally, because the thing is, if you say an affirmation that's not true right away, your brain's gonna be like, that's not true. But if you keep saying it over and over, it's like your brain eventually gets used to the idea, and that affirmation is like something your brain just accepts. Just kind of like if you are putting it, let's say you are taking, she's talking about jobs. So let's say you get a new job. At first, you don't know how to get there. You're going to put it in the GPS, right? But the more times you drive down that road, it becomes second nature. It gets locked in subconsciously. It's like this little road that you've paved in your brain. And this is actually called neuroplasticity. So the thoughts we think over and over are what become like the natural default way of thinking. It's like your autopilot way of thinking. And this is actually, I do take you through this in my self-concept guide that I was talking about, like how to identify what are your current ways of thinking that are limiting yourself. I forget the number, I can't remember the number offhand, but there are so many thoughts that we think on a daily basis. But how many of them are along the same lines? You'll find often, like, and especially if there's like an area of your life that you don't like, you'll find that you probably have about like 5 of the same kind of shitty little phrases that you're repeating over and over, like about that thing. Like, oh, it never works. Oh, they're always so mean. Oh, they're always in a bad mood. Like, oh, there's never enough. Or, oh, it's never good weather, or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? So that is, so that's like where you can go in and intentionally find where you're telling unfavorable stories and then intentionally tell better stories. But just like Dion was saying, like we're manifesting all the time, whether or not we're aware of it. And I love hearing those stories. And I do find that like I was talking about earlier, if you can practice being in a good, calm, peaceful state and follow your joy, like allow yourself to be present and happy, and wherever you are, just enjoy it, right? Like make the best of where you're at, make the best of your current circumstances. You'll find that so many of the things you've been wanting just start coming to you. Sometimes they come in a way you didn't expect, or sometimes things manifest like 10 years down the road, and that's okay. Like some things take longer. What are you going to do? Like put your whole life on hold and be miserable until the one thing comes in? Or could you just trust that like your soul has a plan and everything's aligning in each moment, and you're here to enjoy like an unfolding, and it's all going to come at the perfect time in the perfect way? And if you really knew that and could really relax into that, how different would your experience be? Let me read through these comments. Sandwich says he likes my eyes. Thank you very much. Jason says just spreading love and wanted to say you're an amazing person. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Okay. Dion says, I have also said negative things and believe what you say can help you or not help you. Believe in talking positive no matter what the situation. 100%. Guys, listen to what Dion's saying because she knows what's up. For me, it's like, okay, so a lot of people can get caught up in the manifestation community of really obsessing of like, okay, I'm going to say this because I want this to happen. What I would say to aim for is, yeah, know that what you say is going to happen eventually. What you want is yours, is going to happen. But start thinking the better thoughts and speaking the better words and taking the better action and feeling better because you want to feel good, because you want to feel better. It's like you have to care about how you feel right now. And that's like such a foreign concept to a lot of people, because a lot of us have learned that like that we've practiced this way of not being happy now, of always delaying our happiness, of, you know, we're always like that someday story of like, oh, well, when this happens, then I'll feel good. Or when I lose the weight, I'll then allow myself to feel beautiful enough. When I get the relationship, then I'll feel worthy, you know, like, oh, when I hit this level of success. But that's like this, I read this, what book was this out? It might've been Out of the Inner Work, which also is in my showcase. I think I made a video of it the other day, like a little part of that, a page out of that book that I was reading, and they're talking about how like a horizon, the definition of it is that like you never actually reach it. It's just like a perspective thing. So it's like if you're always like delaying your happiness, it's always just out there. It's always just like a little bit more, you know, like you're never going to be happy. And the trick is to feel happy now. And then you'll have this real experience of things coming to you. It's like, if you choose to be happy now, you're going to be happy now and you're going to be happy later. If you choose to be unhappy now, you're going to be unhappy now and you're going to be unhappy later, whether or not the things come in. And I don't want you manifesting stuff and then not being happy. The idea is to be happy. But I think we're afraid of being happy now, then I won't get the things. Well, at that point, who freaking cares, because you're happy? But I'll tell you, if you're happy now, you will attract the things. So the blessing in that is twofold. Does that make sense? It's like this trick our mind plays on us. My mom used to always tell me, how much is enough? Just a little bit more. And I find that interesting because it's like, yeah, we're infinite. We're always going to be expanding. We're always going to want to accomplish more. There's always going to be something new to experience and to explore. And that's perfect. But like, how can you hold space for everywhere you're going, everything you want to call in, everything you desire to experience, and hold space for a deep appreciation for where you're at? Like, how can you find that balance between gratitude for the now and excitement for your future? I think that's a really important dance to master. Like, to me, that's how you really enjoy life. Because I know some people who, and I'm sure you guys know people like this, or maybe you're like this, that only appreciate things after they've passed. And then what they do is they ignore everything good in their present moment. And they're so focused on wanting to go back to the past, you know, the good old days. You know how people talk like that? And it's funny because it's like everything they're living right now that they're resisting because they're so focused on the past. A year from now, they'll be like, oh, remember then? And it's like, why not let yourself enjoy it now? You know, so when I think of things like, so I miss certain things. Like I miss living in Florida. I've lived all over. So sometimes I miss Florida and I love living in California. And then sometimes I miss living, when I used to live in Arizona, I miss living in Scottsdale. Like I miss certain things. Yeah. Like, but not miss in the sense of like, oh, I feel the sense of lack. It's more like I look at it like, wow, I'm so glad I got to experience that. And that's always available to me. If I decide that that's what I want to experience again, I can always go back and experience it again. I can move, no big deal, you know, but I'm not going to like sit here and compare everything about California to Florida. Like you have comparison really, I find, is the thief of joy. Do you know what I mean? And then there's people who, you know, only live in their head about the future and they aren't here, you know. So there's people who focus too much on the past, there's people who focus too much on the future, thinking that in the future that's when their happiness will come, but there only ever is right now. A really good book on that is The Power of Now. I love that book by Eckhart Tolle. Hello everyone. I'm just keeping an eye on the time. I can stay maybe like another 30 minutes. I have an appointment at 3:30, so I'll probably, it's 2:30 here, so I'll stay another half hour if you guys want to chat. I'm just here rambling away, having fun, meeting some of you guys. I haven't been able to go live in a long time, so it feels nice to be back. Hello everyone. Don't be shy, guys. I'm nice. Feel free to say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If there's anything you want to add to the conversation or ask. I'm so glad it's been warm though. It's been really nice. It's been nice and warm over here. Was it last week? Not this last week, but the week before, I was in Mexico and it was so nice. It was like 80 degrees. And then when we came home, it's nice and warm again. I'm like, oh, it's perfect. I like hot weather. My family always moved around when I was younger, and we always lived freaking cold places with like long winters, and my family always kept the house freezing, and I was always the one who like wanted to be in the heat. So ever since I've been, well, it's been a long time now, I've lived a lot of places and they've all been really warm. Oh, I'm missing my mouth completely. Dion, where are you from? If you want to share. I just like to know where people are from. From Portland. Nice. So that's close by. You know what? I haven't been there. I'm like, how do I live in California and I haven't been to Oregon? I had friends. I want to say is there a place called Bend in Oregon? I had a friend from Oregon and I want to say that's where she was from, although I could be getting that wrong. But I have not gone. I would love to go. I'm going to flip through here just while we're on because I have a little bit more time and like see if there's anything else that sticks out that I want to read. Oh, would be good. I'll read another passage out of here. And for anyone just joining, this is Don't Believe Everything You Think. I don't have it linked in the video anymore because TikTok was giving me annoying notifications. So you can find it I have it in my showcase at the top of my profile. Okay, Dion says, yes, Bend is definitely a tourist ski summer. Sun River, best place to go. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I'm glad I remembered that. But yeah, I've heard really good things. I've heard Oregon's beautiful. I see people with Oregon plates all around here too, so I don't know if they're just visiting or I'll have to go sometime. Okay, I'm going to read this out of here because it's really good. It says, it's not the content of our thinking that causes us stress, but that we are thinking, period. So this is an interesting take on this. The amount of thinking we have going on is directly correlated to the magnitude of stress and negative emotions we are experiencing at any given moment. When you are experiencing a lot of frustration, stress, anxiety, or negative emotions, just know that it is because you are thinking, and the intensity of those emotions is directly correlated to how much thinking is going on. Therefore, it's not what you're thinking about that is causing suffering, but that you are thinking. I don't know if I fully agree with that. And I'll say so I'm all for not thinking, but like I think we have our brains and they're there to serve us. And I'm a fan of thinking positive, but I will say if you find yourself spiraling, sometimes it is really good to just get out of always really good to get out of your mind and really get into your body. And that's when you can practice somatic exercises, breath work, just anything to calm your nervous system. Because typically once your brain's already fixated, like in a negative way, it's not very receptive to something positive. You know, like if someone's going through a bad breakup, they don't really want to hear like, oh, there's someone amazing for you. They want to be like, it's okay to feel that way. Like, you're going to be okay. Like, you're going to get through this. You know, you could kind of have to self-soothe a little to get out of it. And then from there, you're more open to see the other perspectives and possibilities, right? Mav says truth, facts. Yeah, right? Dion says, I'm not sure I even understood that. I get anxious and have anxiety once in a while. Yeah, so I know the way they said this in the book was a little confusing, I thought. But basically they're saying, you know, whenever you're feeling super anxious or stressed out, it's because you're doing a lot of thinking. And he's trying to say that like it doesn't matter what you're thinking, it's just that you're thinking. I think it does matter what you're thinking, but his solution is to just stop thinking. And that would also be my solution too, to just kind of like, you know, say whatever kind of self-soothing things, you know, kind of blanket statements like everything's working out. It's okay. This is going to pass. This isn't forever. It's just a bad moment, not a bad life. You know, whatever you need to do to calm yourself down. And then you can do any of the breath work or exercises, whatever you like to do to calm yourself down and get that energy out of your mind and get it down into your body. When the mind's really busy is when we tend to feel stressed. But I do notice that too. Like, so he's saying it doesn't matter what you're thinking. It's just the fact that you're overthinking. And I would say there's truth behind that though too, because think about it. If you let your mind go too long, like let's say you start thinking about what you want, but then all of a sudden your mind's trying to figure out how to make it happen and it's thinking too many things, or you're thinking on something really good that happened, but then all of a sudden your mind comes in with all this fear of like, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't happen again? What if it gets taken away? Like, I feel like if you're in your mind too long and overthink things, it just naturally will become stressed. So I kind of think what he's saying in this book is to just catch yourself when you're overthinking, and you'll know when you're overthinking because you'll feel stressed. And it's not so much about, oh, I need to now think a bunch of positive thoughts. It's like, how can I just soothe myself and kind of get out of that my head and snap back into the present moment? Because whenever we're in our head, we're not in the present moment. Like, and really think about this, because here's the thing. Even if you're in your head thinking a lot of thoughts about something that's going on that maybe you don't like, it's going on right now, the negative thoughts are probably having to do with the future, right? Or the past. You're afraid of like a cycle repeating or whatever. So I'll give you guys a great example. So we used to have really like noisy, annoying neighbors downstairs with like multiple children, and they were just really loud, and they moved out recently. And then we had new neighbors moving in, and my girlfriend was like getting really anxious that someone was moving in. And I was like, why? Like, this is good. Like, new people, we're going to have a better experience. But she's all like worried that it's going to be loud and noisy and stressful again. And I'm like, well, that's just being afraid that the past is going to repeat itself. So you're like, nothing's actually going wrong right now. New people are moving in, that's all, right? Like, but you're afraid for the future that the past is going to repeat. So you're in the past and the future, you're not in the now. And if you can always come back to the now, you'll realize that actually everything right now is okay. I quote this all the time. I really should see if this book is in TikTok Shop, because I quote this book probably at least once a week on here. But it's The Untethered Soul. Who's it by? Michael Singer, I think. The Untethered Soul. He talks about how the moment everything will be okay is the moment that you decide you're okay with everything. And until then, nothing will be okay. And that, if you just really like sit with that, is really profound. It's like, it goes to show that the things that are happening are actually neutral. It's whatever meaning we're assigning to it. Are we assigning a positive meaning or a negative meaning? Let me see. I'm going back to read the comments. Hang on. I've always had in my mind that it will be better later. Doesn't always stay the same. That's true. It is true. And also, how can you let it be better now? But if you know that like it's going to get resolved, it's going to get better, it's not going to stay there, it's not going to stay like that, that can help soothe you, calm you down in the now. Thank you. That's why I said I'm glad. I'm here to hear what you're saying. You break it down and make me understand it easily. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Dion. That makes me happy. I feel like, yeah, like, because even as I'm reading through this book, I'm like, oh, some of that's a little wordy. Like, I would maybe say it differently. It's like, it doesn't have to be super complicated. Sometimes I feel like books make it complicated. I'm seeing if there's anything else good in here. It says, a crowded mind leaves no space for a peaceful heart. I do think like simplifying your life has such a profound impact on your mental and emotional state. So for me, for example, when my house is cluttered, it stresses me out. I like it to be clean and tidy, and that just helps me feel like I can relax and like I can breathe, and there's space and there's room and things are like I can think more clearly, you know? But it's the same thing, like whenever we overcomplicate something, we're making ourselves stressed out. Whenever we have too much going on in our mind, it gets stressed out. We get stressed out. So it's like, you can notice anytime you're feeling stressed out, you're like, okay, what can I let go of? Can I let go of a negative perspective? Can I let go of trying to figure this out? Can I let go of needing to know how this is going to go? Can I let go of something off my to-do list? Can I let go of this anger and resentment and bitterness? You know, like, what can you let go of? Can I let go of the thinking? Dion, I have dyslexia, and sometimes when I read something, I can't comprehend it. I have like mild dyslexia too. That's awesome. Yeah. I used to struggle a lot with reading when I was in grade school. I actually enjoy reading now, but more like in small doses. I used to love to read a lot, but like, I don't know. Now I just feel like So like the stuff I'm sharing with you today about being more present and being in the moment and not thinking so much, like, and calming your nervous system, the more I've practiced that, like, the less stimulation I find that I need, and I just enjoy being, or going for a walk, or just sitting with my dog and enjoying my coffee in the morning, like the simple things, so I don't read as much as I used to. But I do think if you're reading something you enjoy, it can be a really relaxing activity. Now that you're older, it's easier for you to read. Probably too, like maybe you can focus better too as you're older. I found that because I'm like back in school now. Like I decided to go back to school for MRI, which is like totally not what I had gone to school for before or related to anything I'm doing, but it's something I've actually always wanted to do. But like, it's interesting now to be in school, like later on, like I'm in my 30s. I never thought I'd go back to school, but like I'm having a much easier time focusing, and I study much better and I retain the information much better than I did when I was younger. So I think they send us to school too early. And I think like so many kids would do better if they could at least pick what they were going to study. Like just do more trade schools and things like that instead of making kids go through all these classes that are kind of unnecessary, it's so hard to focus on something you don't want, that you're not interested in. Let me read through some of these comments. Michelle, is it too late to revise if I reached out to an SP and didn't get the results I was looking for? No, it's never too late. It's never too late, Michelle, because the thing is, you can create a new outcome in any moment. You can alchemize any situation. And part of what we were talking about today that I think would be good for you is to just practice releasing the need to overthink it, releasing the need to judge what it needs to look like. Practice being in the present moment. I'm assuming, like from your comment, that you want your SP to pursue you. Let me know in the comments if that's right. Like, do you want your SP to pursue you and commit to you? Because the good news about that is it's all about you. It's not about your SP. So, and it doesn't matter what happened in the past, and it doesn't matter even what just happened right now. Like, you can change it by changing the state you're embodying, by working on your energy. And I can share with you on here some ways you could get started on that. So let me know, like, if you want your SP to pursue you, that way I can, or like what you want, that way I can make more sense. Dion says she's always wanted to do that too. That's awesome. You should do it. It's been a really fun program. I've been enjoying, it's just fun to learn something new. Okay. Michelle says, my thoughts are always on him, and it's starting to be hard to concentrate, although I do self-concept. Okay. Gotcha. Michelle, what I want you to do is land, and this may seem counterintuitive to some of the things you've been taught about manifestation, but I want you to just, like, if you can right now, place your hand over your heart, maybe close your eyes, and just tap into the knowing that you get to have the relationship you desire. Like, it is inevitable. You are going to have the love that you want, because that's what you deserve. That's who you are. And the fact that you want it means you're meant to receive that. And I want you to do your best to start focusing on you. I want you to practice getting out of your head and getting more into your body. When you feel anxious, you can go back to that. You know what? I'm going to have the love I want. It's being worked out for me. I don't need to stress. I don't need to figure it out. It's being worked out for me. Everything I want is coming to me. You can do this when you're feeling stressed. Tap on your chest. It's all working out. I want you to start neutralizing some of that stress, because here's what's happening energetically, Michelle. When you are so focused on your SP, your energy is going out. It's leaving you. It's like you're a vessel for energy to flow through, to like you have the desire, you send it out, you're receiving constantly. It's like this loop, like desires going out, desires coming in, being received. But what happens is when you're focused on someone other than you, you're losing your magnetism. It's like you're poking holes in that channel and your energy's draining and your focus isn't on you. But what happens when you can shift the focus from your SP to you, which I know can be hard to do, which is why I'm saying let's just calm yourself and say, you know what, it's working out. I don't need to figure it out. I'm attracting the love I want, go general. What happens is you start to reverse that energetic flow and you become magnetic. And the things and the people you want will be drawn to you. Yeah? So I want you to focus on having more fun. I want you to go out and play and live your life. Like, make your life nice and juicy and full. Like, have fun. Look at how you can take better care of yourself. And anytime you get stressed thinking about your SP or thinking you need to figure it out or check their profile or whatever, I know, I've been there. Nope. Everything comes to me. Yeah. You can shift your energy because the thing is, like, people are just responding to us. So typically, like, to get like more into the psychology and mindset of this, like, typically when we're having an experience of not being chosen, there's some sort of stories going on of like things don't work out for me, the people I want don't want me back, something like that, right? And so if that comes up and you feel like it's helpful to kind of look at that, to kind of maybe see where you could heal some stuff with that, you can, but you don't have to. You're naturally going to eliminate those thought patterns if instead of engaging with that, instead of engaging with the anxiety, instead of anxiously looking out and focusing on the other person, you focus on, no, I get to have what I want. What I want is coming to me. I am magnetic. Things are working for me. My SP's coming to me. I get to have the love I want. And if you feel like, since you feel like you've been super fixated on him specifically, what can help, and I know this is so annoying when you're a manifest, because a lot of people find this stuff because of a specific person. But what can actually help you is to not focus on specific person, just focus on love in general, which does require a little bit of a detachment, right? Like, you can have it with your SP, or what if someone even better came in? Could you hold space and be open for that? At the end of the day, you just want to manifest the love you want, right? Like, you want your SP because you think it's going to make you feel a certain way. So get clear on, if I had SP in my life loving me right now, how would that make me feel? And then focus on those feelings and affirming that you get to have that. And make it more about you and how you're feeling and the kind of relationship you get to have versus about SP and what SP is doing or not doing. You feel me? So this could look like, and guys, if you want help with this, you could check out my self-concept guide. I have it linked at the top of my page with that link. It should be the first one. It's on sale right now. It's only $35. So that's actually really good if this resonates with you and you want help with this and like structure and support. But like, you want to go in and think like, what's the version of you want to be in love, right? You want to be chosen. You want to be loved. You want to be pursued. You want to be committed to, right? So that's the version of you get to practice. You get to practice focusing on those things instead of focusing on, why is SP not texting me? Do you know what I mean? It's like a very different energetic state. And I know some of this is a little nuanced. So if you need any help, just let me know. Yeah? You're so welcome, Michelle. Did this make sense to you? Can you feel like the energetic difference of like focusing your energy on SP and what's happening or not happening versus focusing on you, feeling good, being magnetic? Everything's working out for me. I get to have the love I want. I want to be chosen, therefore I am going to be chosen. I get to be chosen. I get to be adored and loved and pursued and committed to. Do you feel there's like a difference in that? It can be tricky because sometimes like I'll have clients come to me and they're like, I'm focused on my manifestations. I'm saying my affirmations. I'm scripting. I'm visualizing all this stuff. But like 99% of the time when they're thinking of their manifestation, they're actually thinking it from the space of, why is it not here? What do I need to do to make it happen? And that's actually like that repelling energy. You're looking at it from a space of lack. So you want to, by default, embody a space of abundance, of having it. So when you're wanting to practice the feeling of having something that you actually don't have in your physical reality yet, that can be tricky. So one good way around that is just practice feeling good. Affirm it's going to work out. It's being worked out. I don't have to stress. That instantly is going to help neutralize the anxiety over that. And then from there you can go, I am calling in the most incredible love. The universe is bringing me the most amazing partner who's going to be everything I've ever wanted and needed. And it's all going to happen in the perfect way, in the perfect time. Yeah? Michelle says, yes, it's not stressing. Focusing on SP can be overwhelming. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. So anytime you find yourself focusing on SP, you be like, no. It's safe for me to just play and have fun and focus on me and feel good. This is being worked out for me. This whole situation is being transformed. Everything is coming together and working in my favor. It's all going to show up better than I could have ever imagined. Yeah. Bug, is that you? I hear I have a little chihuahua. I heard him waking up from his nap. I want him to come in here. Bug, come here. Bunny. Maybe he'll join us, maybe not. Hello, everyone. Guys, I'm going to head off. I'm going to hop off. Hop off, because I have an appointment I got to get ready for. But it was awesome to connect with some new people here. Michelle, Dion, everyone else. Thank you for being here. It's nice to connect with you. I intend that this was helpful. If you like this kind of content, if you resonated, go ahead, give me a follow. That way you'll get notified next time I go live. You'll get my videos, all that stuff. I'll upload the replay of this within the next couple days to my YouTube, and the link for that is in my profile. So I have my Linktree link right there. Every once in a while, I think I fixed most of it, but every once in a while, TikTok is now saying like, oh, this is like a link outside of TikTok or something, and it won't open it up in the app, but you can just like copy and paste it. Or if you just copy and paste my Linktree and put it in like Chrome or something, it will pop up, and then there's like links for all the things, because I have a lot of stuff. I have like coaching, one-on-one coaching, I have self-paced programs, I have my self-concept guide, I do little mini guidance readings too. Like I do a lot of stuff. I have my YouTube where I upload all these. So there's all that stuff. You can check it out. And if you have any questions, you can just let me know. But it was fun to hang out with you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Good luck with your manifestations. Everything's working out for you, okay? Have a good rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Thanks for all the love. Bye. Thank you, Dion. You too. Bye.